Welcome back to another episode. This is my third time trying to record this because it keeps stopping recording for some reason. Anyhow, this is the Eyes project update, which stands for Enjoy Your Eyeshadows, which was created by Deb B. She asked that you just enjoy your eyeshadows and then give a peak and a pit, so a best and a worst of what you used in the month. I personally just pull out all the eyeshadow palettes that I've used in the last month since the last update, since the last update, and go through them, and I marked down how many times they were used, so we will go through them from the least used to the most used. So first off, we have the Nomad Ireland palette, which has been used one time. Then we have my second Nomad Singles palette, which was also used one time, although the shade used is the one that's missing from right here because it's in a project. And then we have the e.l.f. Rosewater palette. It was used one more time this last month to hit pan, and now it's rolled out of its project. We have the Odin's Eye Hella palette, which was used one time. We have the Snow Spell palette by Dandelions, and it's got a broken shade in it, so I'm not going to open it, and the shade that was used isn't in the palette anyways because it's in a project. In fact, this is the one from Snow Spell that was used, and this is the one from the Nomad 2 palette. Next we have the Adept Sumerian Sunset palette, and this was also used one time. We have my first Lethal Singles palette. There it goes. This was used one time. It was this shade here. And then we have the Unearthly Dreamer palette. Was used one time. My Odin's Eye Singles was used one time, and again, it's the shade that's in a project. So it was this shade right here, which is actually currently on my nails. Then my third Lethal Singles palette was used one time. These are my mattes. The Dandelion Singles palette was used one time. And the Lure palette by Blend Bunny Cosmetics was used one time. So those were all the single use ones. The Adept Seahorse palette was used 2 times. And this is the one that I currently have on my eyes. So today was look number 2 with the palette. The Lethal Avatar Water palette was used 2 times to try to finish up a No Pan Left Behind for a project. acai palette was used 2 times. If it will open, it is being stubborn. There we go. Ignore that corner pan, it just fell out. This one's getting pretty old. The Adept Cyborg Choir palette was used 2 times. It was used once for the yellows and once for this blue here. Or no, it was this blue and this blue were both used. Moonspell Volume 2 by Lunar Beauty was used 2 times. The Adept Arrow Inspired palette was used 2 times. The Odin's Eye Christmas Eve palette was used 2 times. And finally, the newest palette in my collection, the Nomad Haunted Europe palette was used 2 times. Did 2 different looks with this when I got it. Now for 3 uses, we have the Unearthly Devour palette was used 3 times. One of them was just reaching for this shade, which I'm trying to hit pan. Another one used the greens. Well, this look used the greens. And then another one used the reds and greens combined. Next we have the Odin's Eye Hey Reindeer palette from last year's Christmas. And all 3 uses were reaching for this orange. Next we have the Natasha Mini Gold palette. And all 3 uses were reaching for this gold shade, which I'm trying to finish this year. And then my first Nomad singles, which is primarily Hudson Valley and then a couple from the Cloud Forest. And we used this one 3 times for some fall looks. All the 3s? That's all the 3s. One second. Okay. For 4s, we have the ColourPop Shadow and Ritz was used 4 times. And the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Moonwalk was used 4 times. The Fancy Cosmetica Rogue palette was used 4 times. I'm attempting to hit 5 uses on all the shades for Throwback 30. I got some use. And then the Odin's Eye Merry Christmas palette was used 4 times. Oh, that's plastic. There you go. The ColourPop Troublemaker palette was used 5 times. And all of those were with the silver, which I'm trying to hit pan on. And then we have my second lethal singles. And I was trying to hit no pan left behind on this palette, and that got its 7 uses this month. And then tied for the most uses, and should not be surprising, both of these were used 18 times. We have the ColourPop Mar palette, which got its uses because it's my project Level Up. As you can see, still no new pans, despite 18 uses. It just doesn't like me. And then we have the e.l.f. Truffles palette, which is my Pan That palette, which is why it got so many uses. And I've been using this one in conjunction to the Mar palette for all 18 of those uses. Well, not for all of them. For most of those 18 uses, they were used together. Sometimes just the black was used as a liner. So that's all the uses. So now comes the question of peat. Peak and pit. I think for our pit, and see, I'm having trouble opening it again. This is the e.l.f. Acai palette. I had trouble opening the first time. There we go. And more of that blue broke. I'm going to put this as the pit for the same reason that this just gave a surprise crumbly pan. It is crumbly. It is old. It is completely dried out. I really should scrape them out and repress them with some jojoba oil or something to try to make them work better, but it's just not worth it to me. I am trying to finish this one in Throwback 30, and hopefully the crumbling will help get rid of that one faster, but it's just old. It's not the palette's fault. This was a very nice palette when I first got it. It just, I got it in 2015, 2016, something like that. So yeah, it's just old. It's past its expiration date. And then peak. Peak's always a hard one. Can't go by uses because that's for projects. And most of what I've been using lately is just projects, trying to get through them. You know what? I am going to go ahead and give it to my newest palette, the Haunted Europe, which doesn't want to change. There we go. This palette is one I had been wanting for a while, but by the time I got up my gumption to actual order from Nomad, they had pulled it and discontinued it. So as soon as it came back, I had to jump on it. but the shimmers are lovely. Not sure how they'll show up just because my skin's so dry. There's the shimmers. There's some of the shimmers. And the mattes are buttery soft and gorgeous as well. So now I am going to go with this one for my peak. It only got 2 uses because between collabs and projects I just couldn't squeeze in any more time, but I just cannot wait to use that palette again. So I think that qualifies it for a peak. So that's it. That's the update for our eyes project pan, and we'll hopefully see you next month. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and that way you can see the next month's update. Thank you. Bye.